this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it, it's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word is self-approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences, let love heal all that's broken. If you need truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it, it's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word is self-approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences, let love heal all that's broken.
And shalom aleichem to each and every one of you. So glad to have you all here. It's a joy to be around you and be with you, towards you. Clubhouse, I'm so sorry for the sound problems you were having. I'm sure you couldn't hear me, but now you can. Moderators, would you please mod the room, bring up all of those who are with us, and microphones to everyone in this room. You cannot be in here without a microphone because this is a Bible book club. We come here to talk about the Bible. All right, so let's get started right now as we move forward in a great deal of teaching and learning tonight. We're looking forward to a dynamic time of just reading his writ, coming to understand all things that he wants for us to know and see. And I'm hoping that you all can be engaged as we look to get into this again tonight with the book of Genesis. Those of you who are tuning in on the Clubhouse page, again, you're in the proceeding word, or the, pardon me. There is a proceeding word room, but you're in the Bible Book Club house. And we hope that you will make it your business to want to be a participant in this house on a regular basis. So look to join it if you want to do that. Those of you on YouTube, would you please subscribe to the actual page? And those of you who are also on Facebook, like the actual page, then like this particular program, okay? And we're going to get started right now with why we're here. And of course, that is to read the writ. And so let's start with a word of prayer. Father, we bless you, exalt you, magnify, and extol you for who you are and why you are in this day. We give your name glory. We give your name honor. We give your name praise. You alone are holy. You alone are righteous. You are our King, our Savior, our Redeemer, our hope, our peace, our joy. There is none like you in all the earth. We exalt you for who you are and why you are in this day. We're asking now that you would grace us with your wisdom and your peace and your joy and all the strength that comes from you. We do know. And then we look from that strength to give you back glory, to give you back honor, to give you back dominion, to give you back might, to give you back power because of who you are and why you are in our lives. Bless this time of study. Show us what you want us to see, and we will see it. Teach us what you want us to learn. We will learn it. And touch us in any way you can. And we look to feel your presence in this place. We all submit and surrender by the blood of Yeshua HaMashiach. We all pray and we all say, Amen. All right, everybody. So we stopped off last week in the book of Genesis, chapter and number 42, I believe. Does anybody remember specifically? I think it was 42 something. So we'll just go on over there. I'll put my Bible up on the screen for you guys. So if you're on Clubhouse and you'd like to come over and view the Bible, maybe you're driving, I don't know. But one thing's what we're not going to do, what we're not going to do, in the words of my niece, Naja, what we're not going to do is not participate and work together in a book club atmosphere. So we're here to read the Bible together. I am not to be reading the Bible by myself. I'm not to be the one doing all the talking about the Bible myself. Yes, I may be the quote unquote resident theologian. However, so much, what we want to do is participate with everyone in the room. And the idea, can I give everybody? I want everybody to respond. If you're on Clubhouse, either give me a thumbs up or come off microphone. Moderators, make sure everybody's got a microphone. Come off microphone and let me know it's okay. Those of you in Facebook or on YouTube, let me know it's okay because we're gonna get hitting on this. Let me know. Okay, can I give you something informational about what you do in the Bible Book Club?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Facebook, YouTube, talk to me. Can I give y'all something informational about what we're supposed to be doing in this space? Y'all hear the question? Okay, some heard the question. Some still just typing in hellos. I ain't got time for all that. Okay, Santana says yes. Veronica says yes, thank you. Daphne is still clapping her daggone hands. Okay, Daphne said yes. Okay, all right, cool. Earth Girl says yes. All right. Lindo says yes. Okay, so here's the catch, y'all. In a Bible book club, it's supposed to be treated like a regular, typical, secular book club. Now, we're not trying to be secular. We ain't trying to be the church, be in the world. No. But in a book club, you read. Usually you read before you come in, and then you talk about what you read, and then you go on until you get through that book. Then you, as a club, pick up another book of, someone recommends. You vote on it. You read that book that's recommended, and then you come back and you talk about it chapter by chapter and until the book is read, right? So that's what you're supposed to do here. And here's a catch about the information that's going to be very impactful for you. When you read the Bible and you read it in your head, you don't retain it. When you read the Bible, usually you do retain. You don't retain as much as you don't get as much revelation. You don't retain it as much as you think. Because you live in a voice activated kingdom, you read the writ with an emittance of sound, you are going to remember it better because and y'all gonna have to be honest about this, you only listen to you. Whatever you emit as sound from your vocal cords and your larynx, you only listen to you. You don't listen to the preacher. You don't listen to the apostle. You don't even listen to God. You may take a quote apostle gave you. You may take some of the writings that Yahweh gave us, but you don't adapt to those phrases. You don't adapt to those words until you speak them yourself. Because you only listen to you. I listen to God. No, you do. Sometimes you are your own God. The issue becomes you don't make effective change towards his will until you speak his word into your atmosphere. And then you hearing his words on your voice makes you pay attention and you do what you say, because that's the only person you listen to. Now that's a revelation for some of y'all, because I know you thought, well, I've been listening to the Holy Ghost. No, you listen to what you say you're going to do. You listen to what you felt was so important, so profound, so prolific. You recited it. And now you remember that because you said it. You know you only listen to what you want to hear. Even if you have a person you love, your husband or your wife, the only thing you really remember about what your husband or your wife said to you is when you repeat what they said to you. I do too much counseling. I'm just letting y'all know. And y'all said I can give y'all information. So in this Bible book club, what we want y'all to do is recite some things. And when you get revelation or you get a reveal, you not sharing it with the group doesn't do the group any good. And it doesn't even help you, because by the time you finish the session, you'll have forgotten it by the time you hit off on your computer. So how do you make that last longer so your brain can cache it? Speak about it. Lift up your voice and share what you found as revealing. And now his word can speak through you, and you, beloved, become, as you always said you wanted to be, obeying of the Father. Interesting, isn't it? All right, let's get started. Bible Book Club, Genesis chapter and number 42. No one's going to tell me where I stopped at 42, so we're just going to read and catch up until I feel like I know where I'm at. I don't want to talk to you. You and me are not talking today. It's the but if issue. But if God. So no, Wanda does not. Matter of fact, y'all mute Minister Wanda's phone tonight. We cannot with her today. I'm just teasing Minister Wanda.
I'm afraid of blow dryers.
All right, Minister Wanda, what you got?
sorry, I have to step away. We finished chapter 42. We're beginning 43 today. So.
All right, so we're going to 43. Cool. So we're going to go back into 42. We're going to start at verse number. We're going to go back to 42. And does anybody remember what we did in 42? Does anybody have a recap of what happened in chapter 42? Anyone? Hi, Karen. Good to see you again. Hey, Daphne. Anybody got a thought or an idea about what we read or what we saw in chapter 42? Okay, since y'all don't. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So does anybody have a recap of what we went over in 42? No? Okay, it's going to be a short night. So chapter 42 in the Bible Book Club. I'm going to skim through it till you follow it. Now, Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt. Jacob said unto his sons, why do you look on upon another? He said, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. And he then goes on to state, get you down there to go by thither from thence, that we may live and not die. Usef's 10 brethren went down into Egypt to buy some corn. Benjamin, Joseph's brother, and Jacob sent not that son with them. Verse 5. So the sons of Israel came to buy corn. Verse 6. Usef was the governor in that land. Verse 7. Usef saw his brethren. Verse 8. Usef knew his brethren. Verse 9. Usef remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them. Verse 10. They said unto him, nay, my lord, we didn't come to spy out. We just came to buy food. Verse 11. Now we are all one man's son. Verse 12. He says, and nay, but to see that nakedness of the land is why you came here. They said, no, sir, we are 12 brethren, all from one man out of the land of Canaan, and the youngest son is not with us, and one of our other brothers is no longer with us either. Verse 14, Usef said unto them, that if I spake unto you, saying that you are spies, hereby he says, we will prove it. How shall you prove that you are not? By the life of Pharaoh, he shall not go forth from this place, except you bring back your youngest brother here to me. Verse 16, so send one of you and let him fetch your brother. Verse 17, and he put them all together in prison for 3 days, or in a ward for 3 days. Verse 18, Usef said unto them the third day, on the third day he came to them. He says, do this that I'm going to tell you, and you'll live. For I fear the God that you serve. Verse 19, if you be true men, then let one of your brethren be bound here in the house, stay here with me in prison, and the rest of you go and carry the corn for the famine to your houses. Verse 20, but bring your younger brother back to me, so shall your words be verified that you are not a spy, and you shall not die. So they did that. Verse 21, and they said unto one another, we are very guilty concerning what we did to our brother Usef, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he was besought us, and we would not hear him. Therefore, this distress, this drama is come upon us right now. Verse 22, Reuben answered them, saying, I spake I not unto y'all back when, telling y'all don't sin against that child? Did not I tell you don't sin against that youngin? Didn't I tell y'all don't do it? I know I told y'all not to do it, but y'all went ahead and did it anyway. Y'all see how what's happening here? So now, you got to realize that we are in verse number 23, and they knew not that Usef understood them. He was listening to them sit there complaining the whole time because they thought he was an Egyptian. Verse 24, look at verse 24. He turned himself about away from them, and he started to cry. He returned to them again and communed with them, and took from them Simeon and bound him right in front of their eyes. And Usef commanded to fill their sacks with corn and restore every man's money into his sack and give them provisions for the way. Thus did he unto them. And they ladded asses with corn and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender, while they were at the inn, he found his money. For behold, it was in his sack's mouth, and said unto his brethren, yo, My money's in my bag. I got my mind on my money and my money in my mind. I got that bag. I got that. No, he ain't said that way. He said, look, yo, hey, listen, y'all. I got this money and I know it shouldn't be here. And so because it's here with us, we got a little problem. Buddy gonna think we shady. He gonna think we trying to do something funny. And so now you got all this going on. And we're in Genesis 42, verse number 28. His brother says, yo, my money's in my bag. And their hearts failed them. They were afraid, saying one to another, what is this that Elohim has done unto us? Verse 29, they came unto Jacob, their father, in the land of Canaan, and told him what befell them. They said, look, this man, the Lord of that land over there, he ain't to be played with. He spoke rough with us. He took us for spies. Man, we barely got out with our lives. And we said unto him, yo, we true men. We ain't no spies. Verse 32, he says, we said, look, we are 12 brothers from one father. We had to tell the whole story, Dad. And one of the brothers is not with us. And the youngest brother was back at home with our dad. And the man of the country, he said, yeah, all right, well, if you want to prove to me you're not a liar, then I want you to bring back your brethren, the younger brother you're talking about, bring him back with me. But right now you take this food to your family in the famine during the famine for your households and be gone, be about your way. But bring your youngest brother back here to me. Then shall I know that y'all not spies? Because if I find out y'all spies, I'm gonna bring my army down there and we gonna do work. We gonna lay hands, and we don't believe in praying. That was funny. Y'all not laughing or nothing. Y'all gonna make me do all this reading. Y'all not gonna laugh at the jokes. Y'all gotta work with me. Verse 34 again, and bring me your youngest brother, so that I'll know that you're not spies. Verse 34, look what he says. That this is the way I know that you're true brethren. So I will deliver your other brother, okay? And you shall be able to traffic, barter, merchant in my land. Verse 35, and it came to pass, they emptied their sacks, and behold, every single man had all of his money still in his sack. And both they and the father saw the bundles of money. They saw it in bands. Bands usually make you dance, they said, but y'all don't like that. Okay, so the father saw the bundles. Y'all not laughing at nothing I say. Sonia, thanks for laughing, Sonia. Sonia, the only one laughing. And no, y'all, this is funny. Verse number 36 says, verse 35 says, and it came to pass, they emptied their sacks, and behold, every man's bundle was in the sack. And both they and their father saw the bunnies and were afraid. They was like, oh my goodness. Verse 36, behold, Jacob, his father said to them, why have you bereaved me of my children? Useph is not here any longer. Simeon is now not here any longer. And you think you're going to take Benjamin away from me? All of these things, Useph, Simeon, and Benjamin, these are against me, boys. Verse 37, Reuben spake unto his father, said, Dad, listen, hey, look, listen, listen, Dad, I get you. He says, Dad, give me Benjamin, let me take Benjamin. I'll be responsible for Benjamin. And if I don't come back with Benjamin, you may take two of my sons and satisfy your anger and kill them. If I don't come back with Benjamin and Simeon. But if you deliver Benjamin into my hands, I will take him up there and I will bring him back on my dead body. Verse 38, he said, my son shall not go down there with you. This is not a conversation. You have lost your everlasting minds, for your brother Joseph, his brother, is already dead, right? And now he, the only son of his mother, is left alone. Now, what happens if mischief befalls him by the way in which we go? Then shall you bring down my gray hairs to sorrow into my own grave. I ain't trusting you. I don't care what you say. No, Benjamin is not leaving. All right. Did y'all not like that translation? Because I'm just reading it like I know it.
Oh, that's good.
Nobody? Okay, Genesis chapter 43.
It is good.
Anybody hear anything in there? Read anything in there of interest? All right, chapter 43. Genesis chapter 43. Here we go. And famine was sore. It's getting bad. Famine is already there. They're already selling stuff, but it's getting really bad. The word sore here is the Hebrew word. Look on the screen. The Hebrew word H3515. And when you read this word, you got to understand it. It says it's the word kabod. Remember this word before, y'all? Kabed, right? Kabed. That's what it says. And it's heavy. Famine is heavy. Look at what it says. I'm going to open the Bible up so you can see it. This is the definition for the word sore. This is how bad it got. It is heavy. Figuratively, in a good sense, it means numerous, right? That's what sore means in the positive. Or in a bad sense, it means it's severe, it is difficult. Listen, y'all, here's a word for sore. Stupid. So let me ask y'all a question, because y'all know I like the word stupid from time to time. Instead of me saying to somebody who is acting stupid, I could get away with insulting them if I said, you know what? You sore. And then it won't sound like I'm insulting them. And they'll be like, no, I'm not sore. My muscles ain't sore. I'm like, I know. Okay, y'all not feeling none of the fun I'm having. Fine, no problem. Let's go back to the Bible. Christians, I tell you, boy, y'all don't know how to have fun. Verse number 2. So back to the word kabed. It means heavy. Figuratively, it means in a good sense, numerous, or in a bad sense, it means severe, difficult, or stupid, or so great, so grievous, so hard, hardened, too heavy, heavier, laden, much, slow, sore, thick. So the famine was thick. The famine was severe. The famine was difficult in the land. And it came to pass when they had eaten up the corn, which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said again to them, go again, buy us a little food. Anybody got anything to say about this? Because there should be questions popping up right now. I repeat, I'm going to go back to chapter 42. I'm going to go down to verse number 38. Jacob, his father, says, you have bereaved me, fellas. Usef is not here. Simeon is not here. Now you want to take Benjamin. Verse 37. Reuben said, let me take him. You can kill 2 of my sons if I don't come back. 38 said, my son shall not go down with you. His brother's already dead. If mischief shall befall him, then I'm going to die. Verse 1, chapter 43. So the famine was sore in the land. It came to pass when they had eaten up the corn, which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, go again, buy us a little food. Uda spake unto him, saying, the man did solemnly protest unto us, Dad, saying that you shall not see my face, Dad, except you bring your brother, Dad. Now you just told us we couldn't take him recently. If you will send our brother with us, then we can go down there to buy food, Dad. But if you will not send Benjamin with us, Dad, it makes no sense for us to go down there. The man said to us, he will not even see my face except your brother be with you. Verse 6, Israel said, why are you dealing with me so ill? Why did you even tell the man you had another brother? What sense did that make, knuckleheads? What boy, you act like your mama. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. He said, why did you even tell the man you had a brother? Why you even tell the man you had a brother? It don't make sense. Why was that necessary for y'all to tell the man you had a brother back here with your dad? Verse 7, and they said, the man asked us straightway. He asked us about our situation and of our kinfolk, saying, is your father yet alive? Have you another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we certainly know that he would say, bring down your brother? Uda said unto Israel, his father, Dad, send the lad with me. You don't trust Reuben? Okay, send him with me. We will arise and go that we may live, because we out of corn now. We out of grain now, and not die. Me, you, and our little ones. We can live if you send Benjamin. You don't trust Reuben? I will be surety for him. Of my hand shall you require him. If I don't bring him unto you and set him before you, let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned this second time. Verse 10, for except we had lingered, surely now we had returned this second time. And their father Israel said unto them, if it must be so now, do this. Take the best of the fruits in the land, put them in your vessels, carry them down as presents to this man with a little bit of our balm that we make, that good jam and them good honeys that, that y'all make for them mandrakes. Your mom and them used to always exchange. He said, take the best of the land. Y'all take that balm we make, the soap we make over there. Y'all go over there, get some of that little honey we got. Just get a little honey. Don't get a whole bunch of honey. Give them a little bit of honey. Get a little taste of honey. Just a touch of love. A little bit. Just a little honey. Just don't give them a whole lot. Just give them a little honey. Y'all see how he give them some spices. Send them some of that myrrh. Send them some of those nuts we got and those almonds. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to definitely take double money in your hand, because we got to take back the money we somehow got back. So take double money in your hand that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks and carry it again in your hand. Peradventure, it was just an oversight. Take also your brother, arise, and go down unto that man, and may El Elyon, El Shaddai, give you mercy before this man, that he may send away your other brother and bring, notice he didn't say his name. He said your other brother and bring me Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. Now, do y'all know what that means to be bereaved? Let's look at what he says. If I be bereaved, that's the word shakal. He says properly, if I am miscarried, if I'm to suffer abortion, or by analogy to bereave, little or figuratively bereave of a child, barren, cast calf, be childless, deprived, destroyed, except lost child, miscarry, rob of my children, or be spoiled. If I be bereaved, verse 14, part B, if I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And the men took that present, and they took double money in their hand, and they took Benjamin. And they rose up. They took Benjamin, and they rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Usef. Okay, so before we keep going past verse 15, y'all need to talk to me about, Genesis 43. 43:1. I need to hear some conversations, because I'm not sure y'all following the storyline. Y'all just, I'm trying to make it fun read, but ain't nobody paying attention. So I want y'all to tell me what y'all experiencing in this passage. Y'all see anything funny in here? Yolanda says she got something to say. Earth Girl is online. Hold on. Minister Apostle Walker's with us too. Hey, Apostle Walker. All right, Yolanda, I heard her. Moderators, make sure I know who's who. I ain't got nobody helping me on YouTube and Facebook, but Facebook. Apostle Walker says he was checking them out to see and confirm that his brothers did not recognize him. He was checking on the status of his father, Benjamin, to see how they were doing. That is true. That's what he was doing. And we're going to come back and talk more about that. Very good. Yes, Lindo, we talk about the mandrakes. How many of y'all know what we mean when we talk about the mandrakes? If you don't know, it's funny when you find out. Okay. The author Rice on Facebook says, They are running out of grain, but they had animals and some other things. Okay, I don't know why you said that, bro. Yes, they needed the grain to feed the animals. So the author, you're gonna need to come online because that's a deeper statement you're making. Because yeah, they got other stuff, but they need the grain and the corn to feed the livestock and themselves because they're still making honey. They're still making spices. They are still industrial. They are technically a small little nation, like a militia, you know what I mean? But they do still have stuff, but they out of grain to keep providing and producing, and they got to ration out meals now. All right, so I need more questions from that, more from that, the author. The author says people tend to want more when their supply is low. Don't know where you're going with that, but I'd love to hear it. Earth Girl says, the famine persuaded them to go to Mitzrayim regardless. Okay, I don't know where Mitzrayim is. I think that's a typo. Okay, so the famine persuaded them to go to Egypt regardless, and the situation was cause for Benjamin to go anyway. It was a predestined mission, and wrongs had to be made right. Okay, so that's a lot to unpack. Let me keep reading and see if anybody else can help us layer that out. The author Grice is still talking. He says Jacob constantly showed favor to Rachel's child. I'm sure you mean children. Okay. All right. Thank you, Earth Bra. I knew you meant Egypt. That's cool. Simone Blessed says, yeah, I know what you mean with the mandrakes. Dr. Stewart. Hey, Dr. Stewart. Okay, so the author, you're going to have to come back with some more questions. You got to unpack what you packed in there. And to Earth Girl, not Earth Girl. Yeah, Earth Girl, we have to unpack what you wrote too. And Apostle Walker, yours is quite straightforward. Okay, Yolanda. I heard another name over there, moderator, so y'all got to help me. But I did hear Yolanda. Yolanda, you got the floor. Go.
Okay, so going back to verse 38.
38 of what?
And, chapter 42.
Come on, be right now. Come correct. Don't come in here and do 38. We just going to go 38 hot. No, where we going? So she's going back to Genesis chapter 42, verse 38. Go.
And his response to Reuben, I'm wondering if he was remembering what Reuben did on his couch, and he never trusted him again after that.
Well, actually, Reuben was pretty smart. Now, most of y'all don't know what she's talking about, do y'all?
No.
Okay.
You don't want to swim.
Yeah.
Reuben slept with, Reuben slept with one of Jacob's wives and has children.
Oh, wait, what?
Aha.
Nah, I knew the first part.
Why you think he offered those sons?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Oh, he had two.
Ooh. Now, hold on. Say what? Say that again for the people in the back. Wow.
Oh, my.
Y'all clutching y'all pearls? Oh, my.
I'm in shock. I'm totally in shock.
I'm just waiting.
So, Apostle, them kids belong to one of them wives? Is that what you're saying, sir?
Children, not
Yeah,
kids.
so that's the now I'll let you slide. No. What we're not gonna do is that. Now I let you slide all weekend when you was with, lessons learned with Leslie, you and Wanda talking about kids. Y'all both, I let y'all slide, but we not gonna keep talking kids as children up here. We talking about children. So next person I hear with kids from either one of y'all, we're gonna redeem all them kids from the weekend and from today. All right, that's a curry goat platter. It's $11.35 for a large meal and $8.75 for a small. and I want to have plantain, and I want, yeah, right, that part. Okay, so Reuben, let's look at Reuben's sons. Now, Reuben is the son, of course, as you know, of Jacob, right? And Jacob is the founder of the Edomite tribe, the Israelite tribes. But Reuben is briefly discussed having sexual activity with Bilhah, his stepmother, which was his father's concubine. On his deathbed, Jacob declares that Reuben will no longer excel, for you went out unto your father's bed, out unto my couch, and defiled it. Reuben's behavior angered Jacob to the extent that he gave Reuben's birthright to Useph. And this same point is made in other places. So we're not, let me just find out how many. Reuben had 4 sons. And he does not have a son by Bilhah. Reuben's wife was Ilirem. And he had a daughter. He had a child from Ilirem. All right. So Genesis 46:9 tells us that Reuben did have those 4 children. And I don't think they were from Bilhah. So forgive me for that. That was me trying to be funny, have some fun. But anywho, he does not like the fact that, Reuben did sleep with Bilhah, had a sex with Bilhah. All right. So that part. Okay. So Yolanda, what you got next?
Let's get off the floor from that one. That was what I had. I was wondering about his response to Reuben and his definitely, I'm not trusting you with my other son. Well, with Benjamin.
Yeah, it wasn't so much that he didn't trust Reuben, because actually, if you pay attention to the story, Reuben was the one who told the guys, look at verse number, we're in Genesis 42, though we are coming out of 43. Genesis 42, look at what he told them earlier in chapter 42. Reuben answered him and said, verse 22, Genesis 42:22, Reuben said to the boys, did not tell y'all not to sin against that child, and y'all would not hear me. Therefore, his blood is required on our hands. And Useph heard this, and he realized that somebody was actually fighting for him, but no one would listen. So he gets sort of kind of the rest of the story now. He thought everybody did him in. Now, here's the catch. Reuben was the one who went to get a rope and bring Useph out of the pit. So when the boys all told themselves, we're going to kill Useph before he went to Potiphar's house, they put him in the pit. Reuben left and said, don't touch him. Leave him down there. We're not going to hurt him. We're not going to kill him, right? But we'll leave him, but we're not going to kill him. And Reuben did that so he could buy time to go make or get or find something to fetch him out of the pit with. So when Reuben was gone, the brothers saw the Ishmaelite traders coming, and they said, yo, let's make some money on him. So they pimped him out. Pimping ain't easy. Y'all didn't realize that? So they sold the boy into slave trade. And by the time Reuben got back with what he could find to fetch him out, they was like, yo, the Ishmaelites came through. We didn't want to kill him like you said, big bro. So we sent him off with the Ishmaelite traders. We'll never see him again. He'll be out of our hair. And you know what happens to the Ishmaelite traders? They are forever going to be refined to mines, and they don't even make it out of the mines. Most Ishmaelite traders, any slave to the Ishmaelites, they don't come out. So Reuben did try to save Useph twice. But then,
No, he did.
but then the same Reuben slept with Jacob's wife or concubine, Bilhah. All right, Yolanda, go. What's your question?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that at this stage, though, Jacob did not know any of this, that Reuben had tried to save him or had done anything, because he just thought that he was gone. The brothers hadn't told him yet, right?
Yeah, Jacob knows nothing about any of this, but Usef is overhearing. All right, everybody go to 42:22. Look at it, y'all. Look at it. Look at it. I want y'all to read this. Look at it. Let me start up to verse number 15. Now pay attention. Everybody listen. Verse 15, Genesis 42:15. Hereby, this is Usef talking to them as Zaphanath Paneah. He's talking to the brothers. He said, brothers, if you do this, you will be proved, and by the life of Pharaoh, you shall not go forth hence except your younger brother comes back here to me. So you've been here for 3 days. I've kept you in ward. I'm going to give you food for your donkeys to carry you back, and I'm going to give you food for your families. But I'm going to send you all away, but I'm going to keep one of your brothers. So send one of you and let him fetch your brother, and you shall keep him in prison until your words be proved that there are to be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, I'm going to deem you surely as spies, and you're going to pay for that. 17 says, he put them all together in ward for 3 days. Usef said unto them, on the 3rd day, do what I told y'all to do, and you'll live. I fear Elohim. Verse 19, if you be true men, let one of your brethren stay here bound up in the house of our prison. You rest of you go carry corn for the famine of your houses, but bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified, and you shall not die. They did it. Verse 21, they said one to another. Now listen, they thought that Usef had left. They thought that Usef had left. Right? So when they thought that Usef had left, they started talking. Verse 21, they said one to another, we are guilty. We are truly guilty concerning what we did to our brother Usef. They don't know this is Usef, y'all. They do not know this is Usef. They said, we are very much guilty concerning what we did to our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when we put him in that hole. When he besought us, he begged us, we wouldn't hear him, because Usef cried all night long. Therefore, because of how we treated him, this distress has come upon us. Reuben, he was like, yeah, whatever. I told you, jokers. I told y'all. Didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I tell y'all 20, 30 years ago? Didn't I tell y'all don't sin against that boy? But y'all wouldn't hear me, just like you ain't hear him. Y'all wouldn't hear me. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. Now, they didn't know that Usef was understanding their language because he was speaking through an interpreter. So he turned himself about from them and he cried. He wept. Then he came back, got his tears together, and he communed with them. And then right there, he snatched up Simeon. Guards, get that one right there, because he knows the one that put him in the hole. Y'all don't, am I having too much fun by myself here? He knows the one that put him in the hole. He said, yo, y'all grab that one right there. Guards, security. So they went, so they went and they got him. And they grabbed Simeon, they bound him up. Now, this is for effect, y'all. This is psychology. Usef, Zaphanath Paneah, grabbed up Simeon and he arrested him. They were sitting down there communing, eating food, you know, talking about what they talking about. And Zaphanath Paneah was in their presence, but they didn't know he understood their language because they didn't know he was Usef. And then he grabbed that one just out of the blue. He bound up Simeon in front of their eyes to let them know, all right, we done had a minute. I gave y'all a minute. Now we getting down to the business we talked about, and he says it starts here. He snatched up Simeon, bound him in front of their eyes. You know Simeon had to be kicking and screaming, right? So you know there might have been a little bit of potential police brutality, right?
True. It's the guilty one that squeals. So yes.
Okay, I'm gonna let that slide, Elder Rogers. I don't know how that one came in yet, but okay. Because he grabbed up.
He was kicking and screaming. He was guilty.
Yeah.
The guilty one is the one who's.
Yeah. Okay. You are technically correct. I'm gonna stick to this story though. Is that okay? So
Okay.
Simeon was bound up in their eyes. Why? Because he wanted to let them know. And what's interesting here, pay attention to the psychology Usef is playing on them, because they don't know Usef knows. Usef picks the guy that put him in the hole just by chance. Zaphanath Paneah picks the guy that put their brother, who they're feeling guilty about, in the hole. It was Simeon that dropped him in the hole. It was Simeon and Levi that wanted to kill him.
Yep.
Okay. So he picks him up in front of them and bounds them up. So you know he had to be kicking and screaming like, get off me, get off me. And the guards just got him, and he did it in front of their face. And you know the brothers, though it was 10 of them, they wasn't going to fight against the military might that this man possessed. So he bound up Simeon right there in front of their eyes. They knew, okay, if they was a little bit tipsy, they just sobered up real quick. Are y'all following this?
Okay.
Are y'all following the psychological effects of this event?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So now Usef tells them and commands them, go and get them some corn, fill their sacks, and then he tells the guards privately and put their money in the mouth of their bags. Just put the money back in it. All right. So we read down to verse number 22. And what we're representing to you guys is the reality that what you see is clearly spelled out. Reuben is talking in front of Zaphanath Paneah about what actually happened that night. Because he was like, at least they got some guilt now. This is why Usef is now crying, because he's like, okay, he's crying because it's like, you know, I could do these guys so bad, but at least when they don't know I'm here in their true hearts. Maybe they really didn't mean to hurt me that bad. Maybe it was just them being young. They have changed. They are concerned. They realize they're wrong. You know, that's the beauty of forgiveness, you know? But sometimes it takes time. And this was definitely some decades. So now he snatches up Simeon in front of them. They couldn't have known that. I mean, Zaphanath Paneah wouldn't have known that. He wouldn't have known that this is the one. And I'm sure they all had a flood of flashbacks like, whoa, he snatched the dude that put him in the hole. Maybe they didn't. I can be subjective right now. I'll admit that. All right. So let's keep reading the writ. Y'all ready? So Yolanda, it wasn't Jacob that was learning this. It was Reuben talking in front of Usef while they were still in Egypt. Now, once we get down to verse number 38, when he says, my son will not go down with you, they have now traveled back to the father's house. They've now traveled back past Canaan to the camp of Israel, and now they are there with him. Does that help, Yolanda?
Yes, it does. But in 38, Jacob does not know about this conversation yet, right?
No.
So he doesn't know any of this. So he still has a little issue with Jacob, with Reuben.
Well, he got issues with all of them, not just Reuben.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Reuben wasn't the one that did it. That's why Reuben felt comfortable speaking. Dad, you don't know it, but I'm the responsible one. I'm the one who tried to save your son that we don't know where he's at. You don't know that, and I can't tell you that, but I'm going to let you know. Give him to me. I'll be the adult in the room when I tried to be back then. You don't know. I know what happened. You don't know what's going on, Dad, but Dad, give me the boys. Give me the son, and I'll make sure he come back. And if he don't, you can take my 2 sons. So Jacob got a problem with all the sons except Benjamin. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, chapter number 43. Let's go there quickly. Chapter 43, verse 1. Who's in queue?
Patricia.
Patricia. How you doing, Patricia? Is she there?
She's on stage, sir. Maybe she stepped away for a moment.
Yes, Apostle, I'm here.
Okay, what's your thought, beloved?
Hello, everyone. What I had, you explained it already. From the standpoint that the brothers were talking about killing Joseph, and that's what I was coming.
You're coming across. You're coming across really muffled and low, Patricia. I'm turning my mic all the way up. It's hard to hear you.
You had already explained it regarding the brothers wanting to kill him, Reuben wanting to save him by putting him in the pit and coming back after him. And then it was Judah that was the one that wanted to sell him off. So that's where I was coming in with that. But that was a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. But say it again, because I didn't follow you. Okay, say it one more time for me.
When you were talking about Yusuf, I was coming in to say that it was Reuben that was the one that was talking the brothers out of killing him and putting him in the pit so he could come back and get him. But it was Judah was the one that gave the idea of selling him off.
Right. Okay.
That's what I was adding.
So great ad. Thank you for adding value to the story and putting some of the substance to it. So it was Uda that came and was like, look, here comes the Ishmaelite traders, yada, yada. Because Simeon and Levi, them two boys. So that's a good thing. Now, as we stated, pay attention that later on, when before Jacob dies, he's going to do some blessing on the sons. Pay attention. Reuben offered 2 sons to be killed. Usef had 2 sons. And then when it comes time for the birthright blessing from the father onto all the sons of Israel, birthrights are transferred. We'll talk about that more when we get to that chapter. All right.
Wow.
Okay. So let's get back to chapter 43. Nobody's talking about anything else inside this chapter? Nobody sees anything else inside this chapter 43, verse 1. The famine was sore in the land. It came to pass, they eaten up all the corn which they brought out of Egypt. Their father had said unto them, now y'all go again and buy us some food. I can stop right there and I can give y'all a hint. I'm just curious. Does anything stick up to y'all? Did y'all pay any attention to any of that right there? I'm just curious. Anybody thoughts about the fact that the famine was sore in the land and it came to pass when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, then their father said unto them, go again and buy us a little food.
Patricia.
Hey, Patricia, what you got?
Again, I had looked at that and said, okay, we got a time gap again.
Thank you, Patricia. Talk to me.
Only from the standpoint, if he had all of the brothers there to take food back, he had a pretty good amount of food going.
He had a lot of food, didn't he?
It would take some time for them to eat that and feed the flock and all of that other stuff before they could have a need and for the father to tell them go.
So to recap for the people who can't hear you, and I'm gonna do my best, that there is a major time gap from 42:38 to Genesis 43:1. There were 10 men with beasts of burden carrying back provender, and they didn't have to eat provender on the way from the provender given during the famine. Usef was very bountiful with them on what he gave them. They did not have to feed the horses and the donkeys from what was in the bags. Usef provided them provender and food for themselves outside of what he gave the family. So their trip back through Canaan and over to Israel's resting nomadic camp, they are coming back with a full bounty. It came to pass. If you ever see it says it came to pass, it's been a minute. Now, however long it took for them to get from Egypt all the way back down to that camp, trust me, they had to stay at the hotel. Remember the donkey, the boy found the money because they stopped at the inn. That means they slept over. And I doubt if it was just one inn they stopped at on the way back to their regions and their homes.
Montgomery.
So when they get there, that's some days. I don't know how many days it is from Egypt back to that part of where they were in Canaan. But I'm gonna give it at least, let's just say 3 days journey. I'm gonna just give it 3 days journey. That is subjective. That is not exegetical, but it is subjective. It is a guess and an estimation, and I'm going to say it's an educated guess, but it could be more. I really think it's more days, but I'm gonna say 3 days because that's a real full journey, enough for you to stop somewhere and say, all right, look, we're gonna rest up, right? Because they really can't travel at night. And I doubt if they walked. So anyway, that much in the night, where they couldn't have to stop. Maybe they set up camp, but they did have to get to an inn to get and secure water along the journey and what have you. So they went through a few cities, to get home. So they are traveling. And as they're traveling, those days have to be an account. So Simeon's sitting back in jail. The Bible says it came to pass that after the provender had been eaten up, then he said, y'all go down there. So how long was that boy in jail? How long did it take them to eat the food before they sent them back to Egypt? So it was 3 days from journey. We're just going to say estimate. We're going to estimate 3 days journey from Egypt, 3 days journey back to Egypt. How many days it took to eat the provender that was given? I don't think they only had 2 days worth of food. You with me, Patricia? Or just me and you?
Yeah, I don't know how long it took, but there had to be some time because that was a lot of food that got.
Now, granted, they had cows, they had beasts of the field. They sent food back, and I'm sure Jacob rationed it out. Jacob was a wise man. He rationed it out. They rationed it out so they can feed everybody. The animals, the beasts eat, the sheep eat, and everybody ate because they didn't suffer. They didn't suffer loss. It was a drought, but Israel did not suffer loss. It does not indicate that Israel suffered any loss, and therefore, they had to feed, the livestock and the humans. So there was grain, there was corn, and of course, but they were still making stuff. They still had honey. They had, stuff. That's what he gave them a gift of. They got fruit still. You understand? So they had some filler. How long did it take for them to eat all that food? My point is, they left that boy down there in jail for a minute. I thought that would be of interest to some of y'all. Maybe it's not. Thank you, Patricia, for adding value and catching that.
Thanks, Sam Town.
All right, who's next in queue?
Montgomery,
go.
Shalom. I was just saying that the author has a statement on YouTube.
Thank you. The author has a statement on YouTube. The author says, statement, wasn't Jacob a water whisperer? Couldn't find water? I don't know what you mean, bro. He should have been able to locate water to irrigate, or was that too advanced for that time? No. Again, Israel didn't suffer any lack. It regardless of whether he's a water, he is blessed with the dew of heaven on him. So him and water, even in a dearth, that's why we say that even in a drought, when you're in Elohim and in his will under his blessing, even in a drought, you'll be a well-watered garden. Jacob, I don't know to what extent he had access to water, but there was a dearth in the land. Could he find water? I'm sure. So the point here is not to get caught up in whether or not they had the water or not, because we know the blessing of Elohim on him says he has the dew of heaven on him. However, I don't think that was like the big problem for them. And yes, I do believe the author, though it's not in the writ, but I do believe based on the blessing of the writ, he could find water if there was water to be found. Yeah, I believe he could. But again, not enough to irrigate the land, not enough to, grow. But think about it. They're in a dearth. He got fruit. You need water to have fruit. Let that sink in. All right. Okay, I hope that helps. And the author, thanks for bringing that point up so we can pay attention to it. Okay, who's next in queue? Sam Tanner, go. Sam Tanner?
Oh, sorry, I got to get back to my mic. Thank you. Good evening. One of my concerns or questions, I don't know what to call it, but you kind of just touched on it too, where the blessings, even for the brothers to still get blessed, that way to go back. And of course, Jacob is actually, it's the plot, not like a plot, but he got a plan of what he's trying to do to get end goal. You know what I'm saying? Even about what he's really doing. And then also like the prophecies that we are reading, this like boom, boom, boom. Like
I'm lost, Sam Tanner. Bring me back in. I'm lost. I got to follow you. I think I lost you.
I'm
go again.
Different things here. So one of the things is confirming kind of what you just said. The first thing was the blessings. To me, I thought about the brothers going back, being blessed, not knowing that the sacks were still there. They got food.
Okay.
In a famine. So it's just the blessing still covering them, even in the
administration of the food.
Did to him, not knowing what end up happening. So that was just the one point you kind of already addressed, kind of.
And that's because the blessing was on Jacob, who is still alive. regardless of his offspring's failure and error in selling Usef off. Right. So the blessing does still cover and umbrella them. Good point. Okay. What you got next?
The other one was the prophecies that just keep kind of coming up now as he's older. I'm not sure really the age and how far in span of time, like we were just talking about, but like just how the prophecies are kind of now hitting from, you know, just watching it from the spectrum of reading it. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just in my head. Forgive me. But technically, it's just, again, the prophecies, watching them kind of be, I know these are years apart, but just how the Bible is, the word is really making sure we catch the consistent prophecies in this moment, like they seem consistent. And then my real concern, and that's just another point. The last concern is that really corn? Like, is that corn that they're talking about?
It's let's do it this way to help you out a little bit. I do a little bit deeper digging into this than most people did. I explained to you before, corn also referenced. So I'm going to Genesis chapter 42, verse number 2, and put up the word corn. The word corn there is the word H7668. That is from, in fact, okay, that is from the Hebrew. That word is sheber. It means grain. It can also mean corn. It can also mean victuals. So the word 7668 comes from the same word 7667, which is the word sheber as well. And that means fracture, figuratively something in ruin, something that's broken, something that's bruised. All right. And then that word comes from 7665, which is shabar. And that word means something by primitive root to burst, to break down, into pieces, broken up, bring to birth, crush, destroy, quench. So the word for corn is in fact grain, where you break off the seed from the stalk, be it corn on cob, grain. So it incorporates a general pot of grain. And yes, it could mean corn kernels. It could be also grain from the wheat that they would store up. All right. And since corn was the word used, and in the dream, corn what was used to explain, we've now taken a narrative and all we think about is the stalk of corn, because the fat stalks ate the lean stalks. And then you hear corn being what they collected, but they couldn't do corn. They did grain, wheat, barley, all right, to make the types of grain. You can get grain from other elements as well, different types of seed. And so grain, good question. Good question. Corn doesn't just mean the corn like you and I know it on a cob. It incorporates that, but it's not relegated to that. So again, for the answer to that question, the word is 7668 Hebrew. It is word sheber. It means grain, corn, victuals. You're welcome. Thanks for participating. Okay. Anybody else on cue?
No, sir.
All right. Sounds good. Wanda Floyd had a question or a statement. I don't know if it's a question. I could be wrong. It must be a question. I don't. Wanda Floyd has it on Facebook. It's saying it's a famine. I don't remember reading anything about a lack of water. I could be wrong. A famine is usually begun by a dearth, a lack of water, because you don't have enough water to keep producing and bringing forth. You have to be sort of kind of, conscious of that. Areas that water could flow that are not mandatory water areas, then those areas don't get the water that flow from the basins that are designed and the ones that were craved and carved out of the hand of Elohim. So if the water is low, the ground is dry, it's not got rivers and ravines and pulling, water up into mountainsides and valleys low. It's just too hot. So you got to know where to get that water. It's in the earth. And like Grice was trying to bring up earlier, Jacob is a water whisperer, so that part. So I would go ahead and make the statement that the famine would relegate itself to, let's go to verse 5 in chapter 42, verse 5. The sons of Israel came to buy, I put it on the screen for y'all. The sons of Israel came to buy corn among them, those that came, for the famine was in the land of Egypt. The word famine is the word 4758, which is the word Ra'ab, meaning hunger, dearth. Famine, famished, hunger. That word comes from the word 7456, which is Ra'ab, which means to suffer, to famish, to be hungry. And in that day, hunger was predicated on lack of water. If you got water, you can pretty much get anything to work. So those are issues. All right. Anybody else? So what we'll do is we'll pick up here next week, same space. So we stopped at verse 15, chapter 43. I hope that you guys paid attention to that nuance, because in chapter 43, verse 1, Jacob, I still think that that's deep. Nobody really pays attention to that chronological leap. The famine was sore in the land, and it came to pass when they had eaten up the corn, which they had and brought out of Egypt. After they ate up the corn, they say, all right, y'all, we need some more food. Simeon's still sitting down there in Egypt in jail, right? Ain't nobody stood up and said nothing, about going down there to get him, until the food was gone. I just thought that was funny. I'm going to leave that alone. All right. I guess we're going to stop having jokes with y'all. No more jokey jokes. Okay. So, Father, we thank you for the word. We thank you for your will. We thank you for the ability to study. And thank you for the comedic stories. Thank you for the stories of history. Thank you for the testimonials of story. We bless you for it. We praise your name because you're holy and right. We're asking you to be with, in, through, and toward us for your name's sake and praise. You alone are holy. We do mean that. We love you desperately, and we ask you to be glorified in all things done and spoken. In the precious and the matchless name of Yeshua HaMashiach, be with your people until we meet again next week in chapter 43, verse 15. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we say and we pray. Amen. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May Yahweh lift his countenance upon you and grant you all 13 attributes of his shalom. This we pray in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. We all say, Amen.
Truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word itself approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences. Let love heal all that's broken.